dig down really deep and say, these are the things that I believe. These are the things that I want you to remember. And the person on the other end is going to watch it hundreds of times.
Yep.
Hundreds of times as a way to remember. Hey y'all, it's Anita here with Because Adulting is Hard, and we're back for this week's podcast. I'm here with Garrett, and
Hello, everyone.
We are going to talk about something really hard today.
Yep.
I know it's something that, if I'm being honest, something that I had to almost beg Garrett to talk about, and so we came.
True statement. True statement.
It's a true statement. But that's how things like this come up. This is how I kind of like this podcast. But we're going to talk a little bit about video marketing, basically. So this is a form of video marketing right here, what we're doing. This is a podcast format. We're getting audio, we're getting video. We're kind of streamlining some of the things, but it's professional quality video, very different than going live.
Yep.
So it's edited content video. So in my business world, we talk a lot about that, but this weekend, so Garrett and I send random thoughts back to each other. We're random thoughts, creative kind of people. So whenever you get a random thought from Garrett or a random thought from Alita, you never know what's going on. So
Definitely.
He was telling me that he was on his way on a trip with his dad, and he was going to record a legacy video. Well, at the time, I didn't really want to ask too many questions about it because he was on the way to do it. So, let him do his thing. But I thought about it all weekend long, and that is it's not marketing, but it is definitely something that did not cross my mind as something to do, but wow, it is absolutely something that I would love to do for my children because you just never know.
Yep.
So let's go back to first, what is a legacy video?
Sure. So let me just preface by, so my father's had cancer the last 8 years, and I've been getting into video that whole time, basically. And I think it's also important to know why I do video, and that's really to share stories. And you're sharing an experience with somebody without actually having to be there, which allows you a large audience to be able to react to that story.
When I've seen wedding videos compared to what I have of just flat lay photos of my wedding, I mean, you capture all of the feelings and emotions that Clay and I had at the time. That, I mean, in a still fit photo, I mean, it was beautiful.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't actually get to hear the words that he was saying to me or the thoughts that he had in his head that he may not have even shared with me or that I may not have shared with him that I would have loved to have heard.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's kind of the same concept about that.
So a legacy video is basically, I mean, some would call it somber, yes, but in a sense it's not, because it's basically a farewell, but it's not just a goodbye. You're able to kind of say your beliefs and morals and where you want your family to be in the future, how you want them to react. And so it's basically you sharing your legacy so that way it's documented. Because once
You're just
you
giving me
don't do it,
goosebumps. Just listening to you talk about it. Right.
once you don't do it, I mean, you never have that chance again. And trust me, it sucks to do. No, I did not want to make the video with my dad, but I'm so glad that we did. And that's something that I'll be able to cherish for forever. And not just me, friends, family, everybody.
Especially in an instance like this where you have a young child. I mean, and you're only on child number 1, and your dad.
It's like 6 more to go. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, Devin, whip them out for me, baby. I don't know that Brooks loves me already, so yeah, we're gonna go for number 2. No pressure.
Yeah.
But I mean, right, he's leaving things. I mean, the relationship that you have with your father is it's fascinating to me because I don't have relationship like that with my parents, but I do know that I believe wholeheartedly that God will allow me to have that with my children. And so to watch you do that with your dad is amazing to me. And so to hear you talk about that, and you're talking about it in the present, because my kids know well, I mean, it's inevitable. We're all going to die. I mean, that's a nobody likes to say that out loud. But one of the things that I tell Garrett is one of the most vulnerable things you can do is, to me, leave a video like this, because you're having to dig down really deep and say, these are the things that I believe. These are the things that I want you to remember. And the person on the other end is going to watch it hundreds of times.
Yep.
Hundreds of times as a way to remember. And so I think that's a really, really cool concept.
Yeah. It honestly kind of came from So unfortunately, my grandfather passed away when he was young. He was 50 something. And so I grew up hearing about RO and Pop. And I grew up knowing who this guy was without seeing them, but I've never been able to watch him talk really, never been able to hear from him directly. And I kind of wanted to change that and give my dad a voice to my kids, because Brooks probably won't be able to remember him, my future kids, and it's just invaluable.
It's invaluable. I can remember my grandmother. I was really close to my grandmother growing up. I can remember her singing in the kitchen and things that we did. I wish I could have heard that voice again. You know, I mean, so the concept is awesome. I mean, I can't. So if I'm interested in doing something like that, how do I get a hold of you to do those things?
Yeah. So that would be the Little Lens Media side.
So that's the thing where you're seeing us on this platform. We're tagging you all the time.
Yep.
Little Lens Media. Are you going to walk me through that? Because I mean, that sounds really, really scary. Like, so, I mean, what do I have to come to the table with when I'm looking to do that?
It's kind of daunting. Yes. And I think there's a lot of things that play into it. As far as what the status of the person is when they're making the video. But really it's up to that person. I mean, if they just wanted to like film them interacting with the family at family Christmas or something like that, and then record a couple of words on the side.
So it's totally up to you.
Totally
so if the person tells you, I'm going to tell you something about Garrett. If you tell Garrett a little bit of a vision, he's got his little brain, organizes it into little, how do I make that into short little videos? And what does that look like? I mean, that's what
it's like that meme with like all the calculations.
Right.
And stuff.
I mean, so the minute the words are coming out of your mouth, he's already on. So I would not be worried about that. I think I can envision some verbiage back and forth, you know, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Well, what do you think about that? And I think that what you said was very interesting. Depends on the state in which you're in. You had somebody that did this when they were not in a terminal state.
Yep.
And they were very opinionated. They wanted their everybody to know. I think that's interesting because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I ride on the back of a motorcycle with my husband. I mean, I do things that I could die in tomorrow. I mean, I get in my car. I mean, every day you just never know. So I think it's a really cool concept. For me, I'm going to need to meditate and pray on that because that's a very big, I mean, that's a somber thing.
But I think some way to think about it is, I mean, previous generations, if you've had somebody close to you that's passed, you probably have their writing in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Right. And it's just kind of where technology is advanced to that you can have good quality audio and video of them actually saying what they want to say to you.
And as a lover of video, I just like the stories of video. I like it. I mean, I like, that's what I love about Facebook. You know, I get to see clips of my kids at young ages that I would never, I'm not the type of, I tried to scrapbook. I tried to put it all, I'm just not that person. So just having a digital record of video of myself as well as the people that I love is priceless to me.